I was listening to a webinar recently, and you described corporate debt as the elephant in the room right now. Could I just get you to explain in a bit more detail what you mean by that and why it's something that needs to be thought about?
So, the 4 quality filters, we look at all companies through a decent balance sheet. Lowly geared balance sheet is preferred and demanded by us, just because it does tend to keep you out of trouble when things like what we just went through occurs. It is interesting, up into February, market was at record highs. Companies were doing buybacks, borrowing money to do the buyback, leveraging up. And then once it hit, companies cancelled dividends, stopped buybacks. It was a cash flow hit, right? So we had complete cessation of all cash flow in some businesses. So then debt became a problem because you had to make your interest payments. So you're leaning on your banks to extend terms, etc. So it suggests to us a lot of companies that weren't preparing for a rainy day. Now, it's quite peculiar to us that a lot of companies actually went and got more debt rather than de-levering this. Infrastructure, which is quite a defensive sector, but the corona was very specific to that sector in that travel had stopped and people were working from home, less movement, etc. So a lot of those companies, rather than de-lever, like Auckland International Airport de-levered, they did a raising. A lot of the Australian ones did not, and they've extended terms and put a bit more debt on. Now, the risk here is when you put more financial leverage in those assets, they're all highly financially levered anyway, because it's usually a stable business. What happens if you just ask the question, what happens if we don't return to normal levels for 5 years? All of a sudden, you've got more debt to service with less earnings compared to the last cycle. So all it does is introduces another business risk, and people tend not to consider it when rates are low.